Hello everyone, Don here again with the next update on the W.A.R Corsair project. This past week the temperatures were pretty much 90 all week long, and the humidity just got worse as the week went on. Yesterday was the first day where the temperatures actually got down into the lower 80s, but the humidity was still high. When I came out here in the garage, it was 85% humidity at 76 degrees or something like that. Alright, so this weekend I didn't get out here till yesterday, but what I did is I worked on my elevator. As you can see, I've got 2 layers of cloth now finished on the what would be the top side. I was able to grind the fiberglass off the bottom of these, and after this is done I'll flip it over and I'll add more cloth. It's basically just this strip right here on the bottom. You got some tape here to kind of help hold this corner tucked in there good, so when I trim it, because it is only about 80 degrees in here, a little humid but not bad. This stuff is taking a long time to set up, so I'm not going to be able to do anything more with it today. I just, you can see I just glassed right over the hinge pockets. That'll all be cut out in the end. But this is what it looks like. This is the same cloth that's on the fuselage. It's a crow's foot weave, 7725 I believe. So it's still real soft, as you can see. It doesn't like going around tight corners, but hopefully that's enough to get it around so it matches the bottom side. Okay, I mentioned the last time I put this video, I didn't show you the actual work I performed on this tail section here. You can see in here I fiberglassed it from this plywood out to here. It was even longer than that, and I just trimmed it to size. And then I put the cone on and inserted these tenement nuts, and that's how it's anchored. So that's basically what I did there. Now the tail cone itself, which I haven't got to yet, it's going to get another layer of glass in it, and the glass on that is going to stick out so it can go underneath here, and then I'll probably just put a couple screws right here is all, and there's 7 around there. Then I need to come in here and reseal up some of this, recoat it, and then throw some fresh paint on there, because that's some of the sanding I had to do to get the clearance well. I just went in and got the cable hooked up there just to get these in place. I was going to try and get the rudder done today as well, but the elevator just took too much time. It's just sitting there. There's no screws holding it yet. So, after I finished with this, I decided to tie up a few little loose ends. So the first thing I did is I had 2 fuel pump relays hanging down under here, because here's the harness for the plug into the fuel pumps on the bottom of the tank, and then there's another smaller harness under there as well, hanging here somewhere. Here it is. This little guy goes to the fuel sending unit. Okay, well, the fuel pump relays, I put some Tinnerman nuts on the flanges on the relays, and I just drilled 2 little holes here. So now they're mounted up underneath. I don't know if I can get them up in there and show you them or not. But they're mounted up there. So the only thing left is to get this, and I was still looking at a way to tighten this up a little more. The compass is right here, so if I use any brackets up there, it's got to be aluminum or something, no metallic, no metal parts, no metal screws. It'll all have to be brass. I was looking to possibly come out over here with one, and maybe over there by the ignition switch, but I think maybe just one down to here will probably suffice. As soon as that's done and get some power on this thing, got a little cleanup here to do. Glue this piece that fell out back in, so this is still loose. Get that glued up, touched up a little bit, and then the tank should be ready to go back in. And then one of the other things I did is I had 2 relays for the flaps that were back down in this hole here. So I did the same thing. I already had one existing hole here for a flap system that didn't work out right first time. So I drilled a second hole and put Tinnerman nuts on them and anchored those in. And then down in here, there's the, I don't have my flashlight handy. Let's see if my drill will give you a little light in there. Whatever. But I got the battery boxes down here, as you can see, and then there's the cables for the battery, which are, the one is way too long. I'm going to have to cut it back, take this end off, and put it back in there. I think that's the positive. But the battery box is down in there, and this is kind of a little luggage compartment, and I did manage to put in 3 more of those nut plates and screws in the back here to hold that tray into place. And then the last thing to get done is way back in there. I don't know if we can see it or not. Should have my full light out for this, but the shackles are back in there for the seat belt, and the harness comes through these 2 slots here. So I got to get back in there. I got to order up some screws, cotter pins, or clevis pins to mount that stuff. Like I said, and then the only thing left is just to snug that up. And then I can get my seat back in, get the seat cover mounted. I need to get some snaps so I can snap the seat down in several places, maybe a couple here, and here to keep it from sliding, and a couple on the bottom. And then the boot goes clean around the stick. But that's all hooked up. So, and then I got to clean this off, get this rust off of here, get it repainted, get the windshield in place, and holes drilled for that. I was tinkering around with the flaps some more, or the gear doors. Finally come up with an idea to get those to work. I mean, they'll work fine as far as going up, but when they come down and you're flying with the gear down, that's what's going to happen if the wind blows on it. So I'm trying to make a mechanical condition that will physically hold them open so they cannot move when they're down like this. So that's kind of where I'm at. Because of the extremely hot and humid week, I wasn't able to get out here and do anything. I come out here Friday just to check on something, and it was as humid in here as it was outside. It felt a little cooler, but that was about it. So absolutely miserable week. Couldn't do a thing. This took way longer than I was hoping. I was hoping to get the rudder finished as well. So this week is going to look a little better. Yesterday it did. It just rained pretty much all day. It never stopped raining until like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So it was too damp to do any glass work. The temperatures were cool, but the humidity was, like I said, 85%, which is no good for epoxying. And even at this temperature now, even if it is 80 degrees, it's still not warm enough to make this stuff cure as good as it should. So that's going to do it for this week's update. Not much more to report. But I'm going to keep plugging away at it. I doubt I'll touch on this tonight, but usually I like to get out here. When it gets to a certain point, I can take a razor blade and cut the bulk of this off. It might be close to that point now. I might still get to that. I'll come out a little later and hit that with a razor blade and take off the bulk of that material. I can even cut into these little pockets to clean it up. And then once that's done, I gotta, like I said, do these undersides. I can do those during the week. And then next phase would be the slurry. Mix up some really thick microbloons and fill it in. As you can see, here was some material that was on here from a chipped up edge, and this is kind of concave right here. It really stuck out. So that'll get slurried in with a thick cake frosting type. It's going to be real, like 5 parts microbloons to 1 part epoxy, and just makes this real light Bondo. Very, very light Bondo. Alright, that's going to do it for this week's update. Short and sweet, to the point. So, as always, feel free to leave any comments, questions, or concerns. I do seem to be getting all the comments coming through now. But each time I upload a video, I have to uncheck that box, hold comments until pending review of something or another. So, I have to uncheck that every time I load a video. So, appreciate everyone taking their time watching my videos. Again, stay tuned. I'll try to keep these coming every weekend as I can. The idea is to get this thing ready to test out at least this fall. So, alright, that's going to be it for this week, folks. Thanks for watching again. This is Dino Don out.